Hey guys, it's Laura. Welcome back to our home. Today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of our downstairs, right from the before renovation and what it's looking like now after. We actually finished the renovation of the downstairs within 4 months, just working in weekends. They were pretty long weekends, but we've been living in the property for about a year now, so I thought it'd be quite a good chance to take you around, let you know how we feel about it now and what maybe we might change. And if you're new and you don't have a foggy what I'm talking about, I will put our renovation playlist down below so you can get catched up on it all. But I'm gonna jump right in and start at the front door and take you around. I'm starting in the echoest room of the house. This is our little porch. We just freshly painted this white, and this is the original door. We got this one dipped, which I would highly recommend. It's so much time and effort to do it yourself, but getting it dipped is quite a cheap alternative, and it just cleans it up, freshens it up. In the future, if we want to paint this one, we can. And you come through into the hallway. But let's take a look back at what the hallway looked like before. And so after stripping it all back and neatening it up, we just really simply gave it a lick of paint, the cheapest paint, because this area gets all of the walk through because we are renovating in stages, and we did this bottom floor so that we could get in and live normally. Obviously we have so much trade coming in through here with all of their boots, wood, plaster, you name it, being brought through the house, and so we knew that this just had to be done to be as practical as possible. So that's why we got this rug, which you can see actually already has a little stain on it there, but it's amazing because it's pretty much like an absolutely ginormous doormat. It goes right to the front of the door and it just catches all of the dirt, which is absolutely amazing. But I actually also quite like the way that it looks. You can see there's something that I'd love to change. We have one of our internet hubs, simply because we didn't change any of the electrics or wiring downstairs, and that's where it was. It obviously can't be behind the mirror because then that blocks the whole purpose of us having it and being able to have internet. But the mirror is one of my, I just adore this mirror in here instead of the cupboard that was originally in here. It really brightens up the space, opens it up, and obviously it's really nice to just check your outfit before you leave the house. And we were actually very lucky because this mirror is from the White Company, and it just so happened we didn't change the size of this little cubby hole, but this one just so happened to fit. It's got a little bit of a gap at the top, but we have lights going through here, which is really nice. If we have people around, we light this one up and it just gives a gorgeous effect. If we weren't renovating, we would obviously have pictures all up on these walls, but as you can see, the reality of being in a renovation, I wanted to keep this really real. We've got scuffs all over these walls in the hallway, and we always knew that that was going to happen, so we didn't want to put anything precious in here. We don't have anything, we've even got scuffs up here. Look, I probably could wipe these off, but if you're living in a renovation, you'll know there's just no point. And then the first room you enter on the right is the living room. I think we'll take it back to what it looked like before we even go in there. This is where we are with the living room now. This is by far one of our most favorite rooms. It's where we come and relax. It's our little zen place in the madness of renovating at home. And so many people have said to us, why on earth are you doing things so temporary? Well, we've lived here for a year. Let me tell you, it is so much nicer living in this than living what it was like previously. It was well worth all of the effort and the hassle. So things in here that we still need to do. This port door has been dipped like the others, but we actually started to fill this one and then we never got round to sanding it. So this side of it has just been dotty for ages, which is such a shame because it's such a beautiful feature. It needs to be taken off and sanded down. And you may also notice it really also needs a door handle. We actually have the door handle and have had the door handle since we moved in a year ago, but it's just not something that we've got around to. And I know so many of you will know if you've renovated the feeling. You think that you're going to do all of these things, but sometimes they just don't take priority. So the base of this room was really the stripping and then the painting. So we painted this in the Earthborn clay white, which is actually their whitest white, but it is the most beautiful colour. It's kind of, it can be warm in some lights and almost a little bit pinky, and then in other lights it looks a little bit grey or more of a yellow tone. It's just gorgeous. It's like the most gorgeous off-white. The pros to it is that it is a clay paint so that it's breathable. We had lime plaster put in this room, so we wanted a clay paint. Obviously with older properties it's really good to have a breathable paint. They are on the expensive side, and the other thing with it, thankfully we actually don't have any in this room because we keep this room very nice, but it does mark very easily. It's got this really matte texture to it that marks. And then the other thing, which is kind of like the base of the room, would be the flooring. So we hired a big sander to sand this floor, and then we stained it in the brand Osmo in the white colour, and I actually did 2 coats of the white, and then we also put on a top coat, and that kind of gave us the basis of the room, like the majority of the room, and the ceiling is just a basic white. I won't go through all of the furniture and the items in here because I've only just recently done a little living room makeover where you'll be able to see all of these items. We are missing an armchair there. We need to get that back into the room. But we often move things around the house. The mirror was secondhand, which I absolutely love. And it's really nice to have a little bit of storage in here with this chest of drawers. That's the one thing with renovating, is that you don't often get a lot of storage. So the rooms that you're gonna have nice, I'd put good storage in them. And our poor house is still wrapped in scaffolding and needs some curtains, but hopefully by Christmas we'll get that sorted. And then this is the other side of the room, which is our sofa. This one has been with us everywhere. We actually bought it for our London flat because we got to our London flat and our previous sofas didn't fit in. So this has been in my mini and it has been washed a million times. And I'm gonna be honest, as you can probably see, I've given up with steaming it because we wash it so often. It's not a sofa that we, like, it's our renovation sofa, which we'll probably update at some point. We also have a load of sneaky wires under there, which you can see, holding all of our cables and stuff. I thought I'd just do this walkthrough, very real. Then coming out the living room, you come back into the hallway. All of our woodwork here is painted in the Farrow and Wimborne white, and then you go into our dining room. Now our dining room is probably the biggest transformation if we look back at what it was like before. The dining room was actually the last room that we did, and I'm sure so many of you have seen the makeover. The main points in this were the colour. I adore the colour. It's from a company, well, the colour is from the company called Paint and Paper Libraries, called Squid Ink, but we actually had it made up in Brewers colour matched, simply because it was a lot cheaper and we knew that this room wasn't going to be staying forever. And we also made sure that we could colour match to the flooring. So the flooring wasn't the same paint as the walls, it was a specific floor paint, but we picked a RAL colour that matched the walls, and it made it so easy. I mean, I love the look and effect of it, but it also just, when painting, we didn't have to put down paint, we didn't have to worry about splashing paint anywhere. It was just so quick and easy to do. If you're thinking of doing a temporary room, painting it all in one colour is a lovely style to go for, simply for its ease. We finally put some pictures into our IKEA frames there. I ended up not doing anything with this little console there. I do need to put the handle back onto it. but I think the color of it really brightens it up, and so many of you guys said to keep it. The fire here is a bioethanol fire, and we trick so many people with this fire. Everybody comes in and they're like, oh my gosh, you got a log burner, it's beautiful, we love it. Which it's not. You don't have to have a flue. It's literally just like a faux log burner. I talk more about it in the dining room video, but we actually have the fuel here which goes into it. You just pop it in, light it up, and it gives the most gorgeous effect, and it actually does give some heat too. The mantelpiece was second hand. We painted it, and so was this mirror, which I think we will just have forever. But we're always scared that it's going to fall down because it's so heavy. We kept the shelving in this room, which was such a good idea because it meant that we didn't have to buy furniture and we could just make it a little bit our own. To be honest, I haven't really styled these because, I don't know, I'm just keeping it real here for you. Case in point, the two diffusers, which I'm just hiding because nobody can see them really as they come in. And most of this stuff is quite old, maybe thrifted. We've got some silver bits here which are Ollie's. These were actually in the house. We cleaned them up and kept them. Photo albums, pictures of family, a few candles and bits like that, but I do kind of swap this one up every now and then. We popped a pink chair over here. This is one that we had in London. It won't be staying, but I actually really enjoy sitting here and just looking out on the garden. So many of you said in the dining room video, why is your dining table not in the center of the room? And that is the reality of just living in a renovation. This is our only access to the garden. You see in our bathroom video, we needed this space. Like, we need to be able to walk from our hallway and bring big bits of wood out here to be able to cut outside. At some point soon, we're going to be bringing down all of our floorboards to plane them. And if we had a table in the middle of the room, yes, it would probably look beautiful, but it would make our life so much harder, and I'm all about trying to make our life easy. These doors, spray painting them was the best thing that we ever did. We absolutely love them. A few people have actually thought that we've changed the doors when they've just initially seen it, and I think it creates a really nice look through to the garden. Obviously our alleyway is not much to be desired and hasn't been worked on. In fact, it's just collecting weeds out there. And that's probably the only area now that we would do a little makeover of downstairs. But I'm a little bit reluctant because, as I said, we do a lot of our reno work just there, so I wouldn't want to ruin it. We've just got some prints to the side. This is another reality of living in a renovation. This is a pin board that I used to have in my office in London, and it was just collecting dust upstairs. So I brought it down here just to sit there so that it just had a safer home. And our poor dining table currently only has 3 chairs, and that is because we've just got them dispersed throughout the house at the moment. And I love this view as well from back here as you look in through the room. This room is surprisingly light and bright, despite the fact that it is so dark. And then coming through from the dining room, you come back to the hallway. Now, we renovated these stairs. It took us such a long time. It was one of those jobs that we just really dreaded coming to do, but it did make such a difference. So we stripped it all back to the wood and then we repainted it. It does need another coat of paint, but we decided, I don't know if this is the right thing to do or not, we decided not to do the final coat because, as I was explaining, this gets so much footfall and dirt. The hallways are the one thing that gets the dirtiest through a renovation, because obviously you can close all of the doors to the room, but you can't really close off the hallway that well. So we decided to leave that final coat until we are done, so that we're not like defeating the purpose of stripping all of the paint, so that it wasn't all clogged up and horrible, and then having to paint layers and layers and layers over the years. And then we've just got our little downstairs cupboard. We put a rug through here. We actually got this radiator secondhand. Somebody like literally left it outside their house, and we were like, oh, can we have that? Because they put a new modern tall one in. It's not plumbed in, but it literally fits that point perfectly. It was like it was made for that area. We just need to plumb them in. Actually, it hasn't been cold since we got that one, so we haven't put it in. Then my laundry nook, which I did a video on, and I'm so glad that we did this little room. It works so well. We can store everything that we need. I've got tea towels wrapped there, our like cleaning caddy. These are all of our cleaning cloths in there. We've got the pegs for outside, washing powder, colour catchers, all of those kind of bits. And we do have more clean, like general cleaning stuff under the sink. And a washing machine, which I actually have washing in, keeping it really real here. But it's just really out of the way and easy. It's just like a nice little place to come and do the laundry. And our kitchen, which you will have seen very recently in our kitchen makeover. This has to be one of the rooms that we love the most, spend the most time in, because we just love food. It's literally the perfect size for us, and it has absolutely everything that we could need or want, as well as just giving us a really nice styled space. So we don't keep this room actually that styled. I always get questions on how I style the shelves and bits, and I just don't, because I use them and I love them, and I don't like things being too perfect. I just pop the vases back up there when I'm not using them and switch it around, and it just makes life so much nicer. Oh, poor Baz isn't doing very well at the moment. I think he's nearing the end of his life. The colour in here is Strong White by Farrow and Ball, and that is the ceiling, the walls, the cabinets on the top here, they're all the same colour. And then we stained the bottom wood to the same as the floor, so that's all Osmo white. And that's just a way of saving money, because obviously, as you can see down through the house, we've done that throughout all of the floor, in the hallway, in the kitchen, on Benson's dog bowl, you know, we use it for everything. We've got our dishwasher there and sink, which is really nice because it looks outside. It would be lovely to get some plants just popped outside, and we've recently just put up this blind, which I love. It makes it just so homely and it really brings the room together. I would still love to change these. So originally we said we weren't sure about the heart. I mean, it's not really, like, it doesn't really need to be done, but I think it would make it feel a little bit more ours. And as you can see from here, we decided to take the door off of the kitchen, which we weren't sure about. We weren't sure about how we would like that, but we prefer it so much more. It's just easier to get through. We use this seating area so much. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, we always sit here. We love sitting here, having a little chat. We sit here whilst our food's cooking as well. Actually, sometimes I even keep an eye on it whilst I'm sat there and like something's on the hob. And I'm really glad we finally put some shelving up over there, because I love having my nicer things just like easy to grab and easy to get to, and it just gives storage for those things that you don't necessarily want clogging up cupboards. We use and love our spice rack all of the time. Our clock, by the way, still hasn't been changed to the normal timing. The fridge freezer was kindly gifted to us from my mum and dad. So if you haven't watched the video, the kitchen is secondhand and was a really cheap alternative to having a new kitchen put in and then changing it down the line. And one thing that I'd always thought about in this room, I didn't know whether to add some painted cupboards over here. We do have extra cupboards, and I think we will pop them in this area here. They just aren't quite the right size, so they'll need a little bit of work to be cut down, or shelving, so one or the other. But I think we need to, the only thing that needs to be done in this kitchen would be to change something about this area to just make it look a little bit more styled, I guess. And then you come through to the back of the house. Now this is actually the first before and after that we did. Thing that would have changed is the paneling that we've got in this hallway, which we only did really recently. It's something that we wanted to do originally, ended up not having the time, and we thought, well, we have nobody in here because this is the space that we rent out. It would be a good chance for us to get a few jobs done. But other than that, it's looking pretty much exactly the same in here. Maybe just a little bit emptier because we cleared it out so that they could put their like personal style on it. I am amazed at how well things have kept though. The flooring's still really good. All of the paintwork is really nice. And we've had so many lovely compliments on this space. I think it just works really well because it gives them their own kind of like private area, which feels quite separate. Obviously they can hang their coats and put their shoes down here, and then the bedroom is so light and bright. Excuse the bed not being made, but as I said, it's currently literally ready for somebody to move in. A few things may have changed. I think that desk is different. That desk has a little bit more storage in there. We've still got a little chair nook, and the light that comes in here is just absolutely amazing. I must admit, I am very much looking forward to when this is a kitchen rather than a bedroom that we rent, but it's amazing in the summer because all of the greenery really comes through. You can see it through all of the windows, and then it backs onto the garden, which is really nice for them because it has their own little table and chairs. It kind of had the patio area, but to be honest, everybody who we've had in here so far hasn't really used the garden because mostly they are at work. Not for us, by the way, they have their own jobs. So yeah, I mean, to me this space still looks very much as it was. And that is the downstairs finished off. We've been living in it for a while now and we absolutely love it. It has a really nice feel to it. It feels homely. It doesn't feel like we're renovating. We love having people and friends around and entertaining, and it is plenty enough like space for us to be able to live while we do the rest of the house. And that is our downstairs finished until we extend. We still do plan to extend, but I'm not quite sure when it will be now, whether it will be a few more years down the line, because we do love it how it is now and we're enjoying living in it as it is now. The next part is the upstairs, and it won't be long until we're doing a full before and after of the top floor, and it will be such a different process because that is technically our forever bathroom and our forever things, but interestingly, I'm not actually sure that it will look that different. But we'll see. Hit that subscribe button if you want to stay in touch and see that video when it comes up, and I will see you all in the next one. If you have any questions about where anything is from, paint colours that I've forgotten or items that I perhaps didn't mention, leave it in the comments below. I will be getting back to every comment on this video because this video is partly about answering any of your questions on the downstairs or the items that we have in the downstairs. And maybe if a few of you are curious, I could do a tour of the rest of the house, how it is now on Instagram. I don't think I'm ready to put it out onto YouTube, but a 24-hour Instagram story I think I would be happy to do. So if you would like to see that, let me know in the comments. And obviously you'll need to be following me over there. I'll leave that here, but maybe we can do that soon. I will see you guys all in the next one. I hope you're well and you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.